What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, in today's video, we're going to be going over 4 different cryptos that I have either invested into or I'm going to be investing into as soon as I possibly can, because they are ones that I think have high potential to see some growth. Recently we've been doing a lot of these videos about what I'm buying, and they've been very like top 10, top 15, top 20. And my goal today was to bring you some that you maybe never heard of before, some that were either like super small, some that were just starting to gain momentum to hopefully start to capitalize on the next wave of ones that hopefully reach a top 100 or top 50 or top 20 one day. That's kind of the intention. That's the goal. And let me know, guys, down in the comment section below if you like these style of videos also, because I invest in a lot. I try to find as many cryptos as I possibly can, and I just throw cash into all of it. That's kind of just the way that I approach this thing. Then I throw a lot of cash into the ones that I really like, right? But so with that in mind, I get a lot of these. I invest into a lot of these, and I would love to bring them to you. So please just let me know down below if this is what you want to see. So today I'm going to be breaking it down into 2 different groups. Group number 1 are cryptos that have just recently launched that could still be in that accumulation phase before they ever even see real growth. And group number 2 are the ones that haven't even launched yet, that you can try to really learn about before they even launch, so you can be prepared for that launch, or possibly even invest into them early before launch, which would be even better, right? And so the first group we're going to talk about today are the ones that have recently launched, and we're going to be starting with a company called Emerald. Now, Emerald is taking an approach and tapping into a narrative that I have said since 2021 would do well. The narrative is the RWA narrative, or the real world asset narrative, and I have said on a rather consistent basis that this is the narrative that I think really brings mass adoption to crypto. You remember back in 2021, I mean, dude, we were making videos about companies that were tokenizing rental properties and things like that. And I know it's a little bit different, but it is a similar idea or a similar mindset in the sense that we can take crypto and apply it to real world things. And that's what I want to see, because again, that's what gets us out of this weird ass little bubble we're in. And that's what they're doing for a pretty niche market, which is the Emerald market. They say that they provide fractional RWA ownership using patented nanotech tracking technology combined with advanced AI and blockchain protocols, creating the first secure RWA luxury marketplace. Now, I do find this interesting personally because everyone knows that Emerald is one of the more rather rare, precious stones. And that's not something I've even seen the world of crypto tap into. It never even would have crossed my mind personally. But what they're saying is that they're able to actually take the world of the precious stones, or emeralds especially specifically, and not only bring that to crypto to some degree and the ability to invest into that little niche through crypto, but also they're creating a luxury marketplace, which is now interesting because now it opens up the doors to other precious stones. Right now we have diamond, now we have these other things that could be further down the pipeline. Just an interesting thought there. Now, they have 6 core things and 6 kind of elements about them that were interesting to me that I want to share with you, and then we'll move on to the next one, but hopefully this establishes enough of a foundation for you to be able to do your own due diligence. So they say here that they have, of course, revolutionary technology. They say that using new mobile state-of-the-art tech from MIT, we are able to increase the probability of emerald identification and extraction from 5% to 80 to 85%, similar to gold. This tech revolutionizes our approach to secure high value reserves. They say that you have discovery investing, in which by pioneering a new approach to resource identification and reservation, we can scale into unlimited mine site potential, opening the doors for discovery investing. Community-owned emerald reserves can be sold individually or in mass for major returns, which is it's so hard to wrap my mind around, but it's extremely cool that they can do that. Lastly, they had RWA collections. Bespoke collections inspired by celebrities with a keen eye for luxury jewelry will be offered in fractional ownership to our community. When collections are sold or rented out, either at auction or privately, proceeds are shared amongst the owners. So you can invest into it and, of course, benefit from the returns of it being sold or just overall value growth, right? They have VIP Web3 access. They say that as an owner or community contributor, you are rewarded with additional benefits. As they continue to grow, collaborate, and inspire, you will gain access to knowledge, gifts, exclusive online and IRL events, and even access to a new Web3 tech reshaping the industry. Next up, which I believe is to be the most important in my opinion, is a revenue sharing. They say that by democratizing ownership of their real-world assets of emeralds, luxury jewelry, and mining contacts, they share the revenue produced from their operations. As the industry continues to evolve and as they scale the tech into new regions, the ROI is boundless. So as they continue to develop and scale this outside of where they are now and just really start to make this a little bit more of a widespread operation, the people who are a part of this are going to be consistently rewarded for it, which is so crazy to me because again, it's just not a niche I would have thought of tapping into, but it does make sense. And then lastly, of course, they say liquidity pools. They say that they provide their community access to unique staking and yield generation opportunities via their liquidity pools. Backed by physical emeralds and the emerald mines they produce their resources from, their liquidity pools offer true foundation of security. And so, as you can see here, they're taking every single aspect of the world of emeralds and then bringing that into crypto to some degree and allowing their holders, investors, and stakers to benefit from the world of emeralds without maybe even ever like actually held an emerald before, right? Think about that. People are going to make thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from emeralds without having ever touched one, right? And so that's the thing about crypto that I like. It provides that ability for ownership without ever even having to necessarily be involved with it physically, and that's so cool to me. And so because of that, again, this is one that I did actually buy into myself. Their token has launched quite recently. It is stabilizing very well. It's held up very well. It didn't just immediately dump like most launches do. It's held up for nearly a week now after launch, and I think that's a great thing. Currently sitting only at a $12 million market cap with a $1 million locked liquidity. I think they have a lot of potential here. I think there's a lot of potential, and it is one that I personally am buying and have added to my portfolio, and so it is one that I wanted to bring to you today. Now, moving forward, let's talk about the next one that has just recently launched, and that is Satoshi Sync. Now, Satoshi Sync is going to be benefiting a little bit more off of the BRC and the Layer 2, the Bitcoin Layer 2 narrative that we've been seeing absolutely blowing up this year, and the way that they're doing it is kind of a first mover basis, which I like to invest in. I really like to invest into first movers. So what we can see here is that Satoshi Sync introduces the first permissionless and chain agnostic protocol for the emerging inscription and Bitcoin Layer 2 markets. They say that with the vision to overcome challenges in liquidity, interoperability, scalability, Satoshi Sync pioneers an innovative solution that empowers users to seamlessly deploy, mint, and bridge inscriptions across various blockchain ecosystems. Now, to get an idea of the problem, they say that the BTCFi ecosystem, while holding immense promise, faces critical challenges such as interoperability issues, scalability concerns, and liquidity challenges for inscriptions. Satoshi Sync aims to tackle these hurdles head on by introducing a permissionless and decentralized protocol that simplifies the process of making BTCFi tokens liquid. And what you have to understand is that this is kind of it's a fresh start. It's a brand new thing. You remember back in the day when like Ethereum first came around, and then we started to see layer 2s come around, and we just had so much learning to do, and there was so much need. There were so many tools and systems and processes that were needed to actually make it usable, actually make it plausible, make it a realistic thing that people would actually find value in. And that's kind of the phase that we're still at with BTCFi. We're not there yet, right? The Bitcoin Layer 2 market is brand new. It's just not that good yet, at least in my opinion, and it has so much of a ways to go. Like they said, there's interoperability issues, scalability concerns, and all of these things. And so these types of companies that can come around and provide value to helping it get to the point that it needs to are the ones that I think are going to bring a lot of value, not only to the ecosystem, but to the holders' pockets as well. And so that is a part of why I wanted to invest into them. Now, looking at it from a little bit more of a simplified perspective, they go on to say that, again, Satoshi Sync is a chain agnostic inscriptions protocol powering all RC20 markets and Bitcoin Layer 2s. Some of the things in which you can do are customize your BRC20 tokens. You can seamlessly bridge to ERC20 or any EVM compatible blockchain for broader connectivity, which is great because that helps with interoperability, and it just helps connect all of these chains together. We love to see that, and I think that's important for mass adoption. And then, of course, lastly, they say that you can instantly create a market with a single click through Uniswap. And so, as I mentioned before, being able to introduce things like deploying and minting BRC, having the bridges, having the ability to add liquidity is going to make the process of interacting on Bitcoin and Bitcoin Layer 2s much easier, and that is going to be so important for the future because Bitcoin's obviously and Bitcoin Fi are major aspects of the future. It's kind of written in stone now. We just need to get there. And of course, the Satoshi Sync helps them get there, hence the name Satoshi Sync. Now, looking at themselves in terms of from a token perspective, again, they did also just recently launch, and they have done quite well. If we actually just go over to MEXC just to get a feel for how their price is done, we can see here that they did go ahead and launch on April 4th, which is yesterday from when I'm recording this right now. And since then, its price is kind of stabilizing and is doing quite well. Now, it is taking a little sec to load here, but let's actually just go out to the 20, 30 minute charts. What you can see, again, it's held up quite well. It's done very nice. It didn't have, again, that immediate dump. It stabilized a good bit, and we just love to see this because it goes to show that the approach in which they're taking is working, and it does prove that there could be some longevity for the actual utility in which they're trying to provide. So I do love to see that. And so Satoshi Sync, Emerald, the two picks of the day for the cryptos that are newly launched that I'm buying. One of the biggest staples for me was the stability. I wanted to see that they could stabilize after launch. They wouldn't just immediately dump. And again, we saw that from Emerald, and again, we saw that from Satoshi Sync sync, as we can see here. Okay, so those are my two picks for the ones that have just recently launched. Now let's move over a little bit into the ones that are launching soon. So the first one on the list for these upcoming launches is the ZKasino. Now they caught my attention because they just announced the closure of a $350 million Series A funding round. I don't know if you know what that means, but it is a shit ton of money that they were able to raise. And realistically, at this point in the market, although VCs are excited, right, and although they are spending money, they're not spending a ton of money just yet. And by them being able to lock in $1/3 billion right now, it's very hard to do. Take it from someone who is behind the scenes on all this right now. It's very hard to do. And them accomplishing that is a huge indicator to me, like, oh shit, we need to pay attention to what's happening over there. Now, what they actually do is they have created a layer for on-chain gaming. That's kind of the market in which they're trying to tap into. They say that ZKasino makes it easy for anyone to launch their own gaming platform, and they actually have their own games as well, games that people can play. You can see here that there's been over $313 million wagered, over 7.6 million total bets, and over 39,000 coming up on 40,000 total users. So this isn't brand new. They have proof of concept, proof of work, proof of transaction. I mean, they have all of those things, which is again a part of the reason as to why they got $350 million, which is so nuts to me. Let me have $350 million. You know, give me $350 million. Put it in my pocket, champ. Relax. But anyway, so let's talk about some of the key aspects and some of the key features. So they have a hyperchain rollup, which of course allows people to build faster, cheaper, and more secure betting games on ZKasino's Layer 2 hyperchain rollup. They say that, of course, is powered by the ZK stack. ZKasino utilizes native account abstraction, lightning fast transactions, and developer friendliness, which is important, obviously, because when you're playing games, you need it to be quick, you need it to move fast, and people who are trying to build these platforms or games or whatever it may be also need to move that quick and that fast, which is provided through these guys. They go on to say, of course, that there's low platform fees, which is extremely important. You kind of get the idea there. They have open development platform in which ZKasino's tools and templates allow anyone to bring their gaming visions to life without the need for extensive coding and experience. They said that you can focus on game design and innovation while ZKasino handles the technical infrastructure. So they could end up becoming an ecosystem of hundreds, if not thousands, of games that people are playing and people are building their own tokens around and things like that, which will bring a ton of value to ZKasino as itself and eventually as a token itself. Going forward, there's a shared liquidity pool. They say that you can integrate your game into ZKasino's aggregated liquidity, which is subject to whitelisting, and gain immediate access to a pool of active players. Eliminate the need to attract players from scratch, ensuring vibrant gameplay and revenue from day one. And like I mentioned before, this is going to attract people to build on ZKasino, which is going to bring, of course, more volume, more value to ZKasino, while they're in return giving many of those people the ability to tap into their consumer base or, of course, their shared liquidity, their aggregated liquidity. And then lastly, of course, they say that it is secured by the Eigen layer. Games deployed on ZKasino are protected by the same level of security as Ethereum itself. So think about that. So now not only are you giving people a place to build games, a consumer base, but you're also providing some of the best security that you could possibly imagine. That's a great formula. And I think this formula in which they're putting together is going to lead them to see a lot of potential success whenever it comes to building out this ecosystem, and that is going to have a direct impact on the token itself. And so in my opinion, because of what we are seeing from them with what is going to be called the ZKAS, ticker symbol ZKAS token, I think that they have a lot of potential. It is one that I am keeping my very close eye on, and the first chance that I get to invest into this thing, maybe either from an early basis, from a private basis, or just one that launches, I am going to take that opportunity because it is by far one of those ones that I think has more potential than many of just your normal micro caps that are just kind of floating around the ecosystems right now. So this is one of the ones that I'm definitely keeping an eye on, and this is one of the ones that I think you should keep an eye on as well. But let's move into our last crypto of the day, in which we are talking about One Intro. Now, you guys know I'm a Solana fanboy, I'm a Solana moon boy, I am a Solana bull, and you guys know anything Solana based, especially if it's a first mover like I mentioned earlier, is getting a plus from me, a thumbs up from me. And they are bringing the first liquidity bootstrapping protocol platform to Solana. Now, what does that mean? Well, what they're trying to do is that they aim to give project teams the opportunity to raise enough funds to accomplish their goals and equal opportunity for retail investors to participate in the early stages of the project. So there's two issues, okay? Issue number one is that oftentimes when people are trying to actually launch projects, they don't have enough money, right? People think that you can just launch projects for free. kind of the case, but you need money for liquidity. If there's no liquidity and you don't have the funds to actually make it happen, if you can't bootstrap it, you're not going to get anywhere. And what they're providing people is the ability to go to them to be able to use these LBPs, or again, these, let's go back up here so you can see, these liquidity bootstrapping pools in order to be able to help fund their projects. And at the same time, it's giving retail investors the ability to invest into these companies early, which all of us know, clearly as I'm making this video, is one of the ways to make some of the most money within the world of crypto. Now, in terms of this from a little bit more of a technical perspective, let's talk about how it works. So they say that One Intro emerges as the first liquidity bootstrapping pool platform on Solana, fostering a dynamic connection between pioneering projects and investors in a fair, open, and secure environment. It stands out for its innovative solutions and robust community backing, making it a go-to platform for token launches within the Solana ecosystem. Now, I do believe that we still do have a bit of an issue on the Solana ecosystem of companies not really having the tools and resources that they need to actually launch a good project. You know, like, we see the bullshit, we see the meme coins, and obviously it's not too hard to make one. But actually being able to get involved and actually being able to start from scratch and building up the ability to, or getting the ability to build up a community and build up a good company, a good utility, a good project and community, like, these things are not easy and they're not super accessible. And the reason being is that Solana's ecosystem is still rather new. It's not one of those ones that, although it is thriving, don't get me wrong, it's thriving more than it ever has, there's still so much room to go. And Solana itself still has a lot of room to go, right? But being able to get to that point requires people to come in and provide those tools and provide the things necessary to accomplish that. Just like we were talking earlier about, you know, the layer 2s on Bitcoin, right? Solana's still in a similar position, just maybe a little bit more advanced. And so by having something like One Intro coming in and providing the ability for companies to be able to fund their projects while also giving retail investors the ability to invest early, it opens up doors for the growth that we need and the type of utility and value that we need in Solana to be able to get where I think we can go, if that makes sense. And so because of that, I love companies like this. They get the thumbs up from me. I invest into them without even thinking twice. Okay, going a little bit further into it, they say that One Intro aims to make early-stage venture opportunities widely accessible to its supportive community, while also providing a streamlined way for projects to generate liquidity with ease. It creates an inclusive platform for both project creators and investors, where creators can concentrate on realizing their projects and fostering liquidity. Meanwhile, investors are provided with a curated list of early-stage ventures aligned with their interests and values. And as I mentioned before, that's right up my alley. That's exactly the type of stuff that I like. They're on Solana. Solana is my little baby, so of course you guys know I support that thing pretty much no matter what happens, even though my transactions recently have been pissing me off because they're not going through. But that's another story for another day. But One Intro is another one that is on the top of my list for cryptos that I am looking forward to their launch coming up pretty soon here. And we still do have a little bit of time until their own launch. So check out the links down below to get ready for that as it does come. And I will definitely be making a full video about One Intro as we do get closer to their launch. So overall, these are my 4 picks for the day. We got Emerald, we got Satoshi Sync, we got, of course, ZKasino, and we got One Intro. Those are the ones that I'm looking the most forward to at this point. 2 of which being just recently launched, 2 of which coming up on launches pretty soon here. So let me know down in the comments below, what are your favorite picks right now, and what do you think about my picks? Overall, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I hope you found it valuable, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.